And I'd like to welcome you all to our Wednesday Lunch Club Travel Edition. And today we'll be discovering the wonders of Petra, Jordan. So we're exploring the lost city of stone and history. All right, you guys. So we're going to go ahead and get started with our session for today. Thanks so much for coming on, and we're going to learn a lot. So first we'll learn where is Petra, so some flights, some trips and adventures, just learning more actually how to get there if you were to go there. And I know you'll be surprised. Of course, we're learning about some history, about Petra, about Jordan, about the country, and some culture and some fun facts. And of course, we'll be having our trivia where two of you will win a prize for today. So first, where is it? Where is Petra? Has anyone heard of Petra before?
Yes.
Jordan before?
I haven't heard of it.
Yes. It's in Jordan. And Jordan is next
A
to Israel.
very famous adventure movie was filmed in Petra.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Jones.
Yes, Indiana Jones. Yes, I remember reading about that. So I'm glad you guys know. That was so interesting for me. It seems like those movies were like everywhere, right?
Right.
So look at this. I mean, Jordan, we know that it's in the Middle East. So, just, thinking about the price, looking at this, it's really good considering what you're gonna get for a round trip ticket. So these are some departing flights. So if you were to depart in February, looky here, 722 for a round trip flight from American Airlines and Royal Jordanian. So if I hit this arrow here on the right hand side, again, this is Google Flights. So if you can Google and you search for a flight, you can utilize this engine, which is really interesting. So looky here. First, we're going from Ronald Reagan to Chicago, and it's about a 2.5 hour layover right here, right? And then it's going to be it's an overnight trip at 6:50 p.m. and you won't get to the Queen Alia International Airport, and that's going to be in Jordan at 3:50 that time. So wow, overnight trip. And if you look at some other ones, you can see some different options. So this goes to Ronald Reagan to JFK, and then JFK to there. So it just depends on where you want to, or how you want to go to Jordan, right? So look at this. Were y'all expecting it to be more than 722, or what do you think of this?
I would think it would be at least 14 or 1500.
I know, and some of them are like right here, but of course, look at the many different options. Isn't that amazing?
Well, maybe it's a time of the year too.
Yeah, and you can check on that, but looking at the right hand side again, it's so important to look at the whole entire screen so you can see all the different options. So if I tap here on the date, I can see the prices for other times of the month. So even if I took a flight today, $8.98. If I take a flight at the end of February, some as low as like $5.93. Isn't that amazing? Right here, right? Yeah, I could zoom in a little bit. Yeah, isn't that cool? All these different trips. And you can look in advance, plan your summer now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's right.
Look at that, 600 here, 600. And look at that. So I didn't look at this when researching, but look, it gets more expensive during the summer.
Oh.
I guess that's the peak season, right? So
yes,
again,
it is.
look at that. Isn't that interesting? So if we go to August, and look, they go back down. So it looks like the summer months are the most expensive flights. Still 1,100, 1,200. It's not just $400 more, but some trips I've seen inflate so high, right? But the best time, or the most affordable time, is certainly in these winter, spring months. So wasn't that interesting to look at, you guys?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and of course you can see like hotels or exploring. Like here, 154 a night, Petra Marriott Hotel. I'm going to show you all that in the map in just a second. But 140, 63 for this one. Town Season Hotel seems like a great deal right here, right? So it's really about what you are looking for. But oh, look at all these different options. What's this one? $42. Wow. Petra Livia Boutique Hotel. look at that. So thanks so much for bless you. Thanks so much for discovering that with us. And I learned about those peak seasons too. I always have to keep that in mind. So, if we're starting here from DACL, Department of Aging to DC, there are various routes that you can go. We learn about JFK or DCA. I'm just going to go here and hit the search bar at the top left. And I'm going to search for where we are visiting to. So I'm going to write Petra, Jordan. Again, this is Google Maps. There's an app for Google Maps, so I'm just using the browser. And it comes up as Wadi Musa. But looking, if I zoom in, Petra Karam Hotel, Sweeton Home, Bed and Breakfast. Let me see if I can find that Marriott right here. But look, Seven Wonders Hotel. I'd want to stay there, right? It's called right here. Isn't that amazing? So let's look at the street view if you can around here. Look at this. This is like on the outskirts right here, I guess. I'm not sure, but isn't that a beautiful view right there, right, you guys?
Yeah. That's pretty.
So let me see if I could zoom out, or where else can I go? Let's see. If I zoom out and just looking at Jordan overall, look at here. This is where we are. We're in the Middle East. So there's Egypt right here. There's Israel, there's Syria, there's Iraq. And I remember one fact that I learned is, Jordan is relatively safe. Maybe the border a few miles out from Syria is, there could be some things going on, but there's relatively low crime in Jordan. So you could feel really safe when you're there. So again, just going in, you can see the structure and just kind of the environment that's there. So one more quick street view if you can. Let's see. What is this? Wadi Rum protected area. Again, when you tap on a location, you can see just various information, see photos. Let's see some photos right here. Okay. Any thoughts you all can share as well on some of these photos? Let me see if I can get it bigger. Here you go. Unknown caller. What do you all think of the environment right here?
Desert.
Yeah, look at the camels.
67 years old.
And this is the protected area. Okay. Even a video. Let's watch this quick video before we go on.
All about these activities.
All right. Thank you for watching. And again, it feels like, wow, it's just a desert area, right? It's just seeing from the various different places. Any comments before we move on? All right.
Has anybody ever ridden on a camel?
Oh, that's a good question, Anne. So say that one more time.
Has anybody ever been on a camel, ridden on a camel?
I never have.
Well, they used when the Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus used to come here, they had a camel act. Now this is back when. Now I'm gonna get ancient now on you. Back in the 50s, when I was a little girl, and they had it again when my son was small, and we had gone down to Florida when Orlando first opened, and they had a camel you could ride on. I don't think they have that camel anymore. I don't think they have some of that stuff they used to have. But it was interesting because it was a 2-hump camel, and you sat between the 2 humps.
Yeah. Oh
I can remember it wasn't that comfortable, but
probably so. If it was like a horse, they have like the pad.
Yeah, it was not real comfortable, but it was interesting.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing. Maybe that'll be one of my life goals is to ride a camel.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you didn't go galloping through the desert, but
oh no.
Yeah, but you.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Anne, for that question. Makes me really think.
Yeah, it's been interesting to ride on a camel.
Yeah, it was, well, from what I can remember, you have to remember I was about 7, 8 years old.
Oh,
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
oh,
but
I would never forget that.
Mhm.
and the thing was that the circus used to, before 295 was down there at the end of my street, it was the train, and the train for the circus used to stop at the end of the street, and they would march the animals up Clay Street to Anacostia and across the bridge to the parking lot, which was the which wasn't the parking lot, but where the market is now. And that was
Mm.
all grass and stuff over there.
Oh, okay.
And the circus was intense. And the
Yeah,
carnival
yeah,
used
Oh
to
yeah.
come too, was intense.
yeah.
Yeah.
Intense. Yeah, I remember. I remember it was intense.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember that. Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah. So let's, as you can see, I shared in the chat this link. I love this website. It's from the American Museum of Natural History, and it's quite interesting. So we're going to read some of it together. So the ancient city of Petra, because when you see it and you look at it, you don't. I don't particularly not learn, but I really want to learn more. So Petra was founded over 2,000 years ago along the ancient trade routes between Arabia, Egypt, and the Mediterranean Sea. As a center for trade, the capital became very wealthy and powerful. The busy city was bustling with life, full of lush gardens, ornate houses, and
Oh,
markets
she
loaded
laying in
with
the hall.
exotic goods from India, Arabia, and Egypt. The story Petra begins with a group of Arabian nomads called the Nabateans. Nabateans, okay? As nomads, they moved from place to place, living off the land and herding camels, sheep, and goats. Wow. And you can see the image right here. You see, there's Petra, but there was the Nabatean Empire. Look at that. How interesting. Over time, their sharp survival skills and knowledge of the desert helped them become successful traders. They gained control of the important trade routes that moved spices and incense from Arabia to Egypt and the Mediterranean Sea. We know that these nomadic merchants became very rich as desert traders. And slowly gave up their goatskin tents to build the grand houses and monuments that became Petra. But it is a mystery why these people gave up their nomadic life to settle down in one place. What do you all think of that? I mean, in life, why do you think they, settled down in that particular area?
Well, they must have found the vegetation and the water they needed.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe they could hunt. They probably could hunt if they. I don't know if they ate meat or not, but if they did eat meat, they could hunt and fish, and had vegetation. That's what I would think.
Yeah, I'm seeing just the water, the resources.
You see the water, and
Yeah.
you see, yeah. So they had the water supply, and maybe nobody had claimed the land. Nobody was there, or else whoever was there, they beat them up and took it.
Yeah. 2000, this is 2000 years ago.
2,000
So
years ago. So yeah,
yeah, man, it's amazing.
yeah,
The nomadic Nabateans settled in the city of Petra. Goodness, just like not starting from this, but just amazing how people can say, I want to live here and make it work.
yeah.
Today, Bedouins, if I'm pronouncing right, Arabian nomads, use the same cisterns that the Nabateans dug about 2,000 years ago. Oh, wow. So cisterns, I haven't heard of that word. I'm assuming it's this well, or I'm assuming it's water, right?
Water.
Yes, it's something that
Yeah.
you contain water in.
Uh-huh. So look at that. Wow, learning something new every day. Creating an oasis in the desert. So, like making a lemonade out of lemons, right? Petra grew up
Exactly.
in the middle of a harsh, barren desert. So, how did the ancient city maintain fertile crops, lush gardens, and even public pools for recreation? Oh my goodness. The Nabateans were experts at surviving in the desert because they knew how to collect and distribute water. An impressive system of rock cut channels and underground water pipes carried water from permanent springs and seasonal streams. Wow. The Nabataeans also developed a way to collect and store water in watertight holes or cisterns. Okay, hidden underground, these cisterns kept water safe from both evaporation and enemies. Their hydraulic system connected canals, cisterns, springs, and fountains throughout the city. So if I zoom in, look at there's a lion fountain, there's a theater, there was a fountain house, there's the temple, there's a wow, colonnaded streets, if I'm saying that right. But isn't that amazing that people thought of this, 2,000 years ago? There's the entrance, there's the tunnel, aqueducts right here, just amazing, right?
Mm.
Yeah, let's go for one more because we have a couple of videos. But look, creating here you go. Controlling trade routes. Petra began as a main stopping point for Nabatean and foreign traders. These nomadic merchants carried textiles, incense, spices, ivory, and other precious goods grown or manufactured in Arabia, Asia, and Africa. As the trade market grew, so did Petra. Wow. All over the land. Hauling heavy loads across the vast barren deserts were hard and risky work for a price. The Nabateans provided shelter and water at settlements along the trade routes. They also charged tolls to foreign traders for crossing into their territory. Oh, wow. All the profits helped pay for the Nabatean state, including the spectacular capital of Petra. Trade brought more than wealth and exotic goods to Petra. As traders from around the world passed through Petra, they brought new ideas and cultures from places like Egypt, China, and Greece. Petra became more than a center of trade. It was also a cultural center of the ancient world. The Nabateans controlled trade routes along most of the incense road, which stretched from southern Arabia through Petra to Gaza. So look at this route. Oh my goodness, all up here, just be following the route. Here's Syria. Wow, just imagine that. I mean, all this melting pot of cultures. I mean, it makes us feel like DC, right? DC has so many different cultures, and
Yeah.
in here in this small area. So it kind of Petra kind of mimics that in a way. Any thoughts on not their success, but just how they did everything? Any comments?
They surrounded with a lot of water around them, different seas and oceans and stuff.
Mm-hmm. And they
Yeah.
were smart enough to charge tolls for coming through that area, and then they provided water to the people who were traveling.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was interesting how they had like pipes underneath. I guess that was the original water system.
Yeah, in a way, this is it's so interesting to learn about their culture and how they did that.
Yeah.
And you all see the white routes here on the sea. So those were, I guess, I'm assuming the sea trade routes. There's the Red Sea, this area right here, the Mediterranean Sea. So they really had a large area that they kind of controlled or had access to.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. So it's just some interesting things to think about. I always love to get some context, a little bit about what we're speaking about. So that was interesting. And make sure you read more with the link in the chat. Okay, you guys? I love that website. So quickly looking at this is National Geographic website. And look where we're going to go into. So this is a potential journey. So look, 8 days, light to moderate activity level, and there's a max size of 16. So this is from National Geographic Expeditions. I didn't know National Geographic had these, so just important to look to see the possibilities, right? So this trip, you can discover the remarkably preserved Roman ruins of Jerash and admire Byzantine mosaics in Madaba. You can join an archaeologist for a talk about ongoing excavations in Petra and explore the World Heritage Site on a guided tour. Thunder through the red-hued desertscapes of Wadi Rum on a 4x4, oh my goodness, and go on a night walk with a Bedouin guide, and spend a night at a spa hotel on the shores of the Dead Sea, the lowest point on Earth, and opt to flow in its healing waters. So this is their whole itinerary. This trip is in collaboration with G Adventures. So they have the whole itinerary here. You see the information here at the bottom. There's the phone number if you wanted to reserve as well. This is about National Geographic Journey. So hands-on exploration. So here are the dates and the prices. So just looking, I think it was interesting, right? So in 2025, it's about 26, 23 for a double occupancy. But look, for 2026, you can see those dates as well. So they really plan them out. What's included? Look at all of what's included. So I'm gonna zoom in on that, you guys. So 7 meals, transport, your transfer, your visit, your guided tour, all the transportation. So again, I did not know. But look at that, they have other ones. This one's a Jordan and Egypt trip. Oh my goodness, that is a trip of a lifetime right there, right?
I know, we got to save up for that.
Jordan and Egypt. So this is a fully guided kind of expedition journey. But I just was so interested to see that they do this. So any comments on this? But that's quite a journey. I mean, that's like not going through the whole country, but going from kind of the bottom to the top of Jordan. How amazing is that?
It is.
So
I'm on mute. Okay. Do you remember when the king of Jordan married this American lady?
no, I don't. I don't.
Yeah, he married an American. He saw her somewhere. I don't know if she was a model or he saw her working somewhere, and he asked her father if he could marry her, and they let her marry her. Now I don't know. She's still over there, and she's had children. So I don't know if one of her children, is the king now. I don't know. I didn't keep up with it after she had children because he had other children too. So I don't know who's the king now. Yeah, but he married an American woman, and she was tall. She was real tall. He was a short man, not short, but he wasn't tall. And he married a tall lady, and she was an American.
Oh wow! Doing research, I did not come across that. So
that happened. I remember that. I kept up with it for a while because it was so interesting, and she was on the cover of all these magazines. Yeah, so he married an American.
I'll check that out during some of the videos. Okay.
Okay.
I'll see what I can look at.
Okay.
But thank you.
Okay.
I really appreciate that, Geraldine.
Yeah.
All right. So our first video for today is from one of our very favorite creators, a super quick history of Jordan. So the country overall. Hope you guys learned something new, and of course, please share any thoughts afterwards. Okay. Let's see this super quick history of Jordan.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mr. This is the Middle East, and here's Jordan. Now come on, let's go, shall we? Once upon a sand-swept, slumbering age, eons before the dreams and visions of men were chiseled into stone, fluttering shadows wandered over the jagged ridges and dunes, and settled in the land we know as Jordan. Named for the famed river, these archaic inhabitants eventually abandoned their hunters' spears and set about structuring themselves into more organized communities, a phenomenon we call civilization. Those ancient Jordanians dwelling at Ain fashioned some striking, we might say terrifying, statues out of lime plaster, some with enormous legs and others sporting 2 heads per torso. The Jordanians of the Bronze Age had a pretty good thing going until nomadic invaders burst in and tore it all down. And then the Egyptians swallowed up the saddened land sometime after 1580 BC. When Egypt packed up and went home, Iron Age Jordan birthed 3 kingdoms. Up the top was Ammon, in the middle was Moab, and down south was Edom. All 3 are mentioned at length in the Hebrew Bible. people as the perennial enemies of Israel, and war was common. There were links between the rivals, however, stretching beyond the similarities of their languages. For instance, in the Bible, Edom was the home of Esau, the brother of Israel's third patriarch, Jacob, and the Ammonites and Moabites were descended from Lot, the nephew of Abraham, and that's where we get the saying, thanks a lot from. Well, not exactly. But anyway, Moab was also the homeland of Ruth, who has her own book in the Bible, and who was an ancestor of Israel's King David. But blood ties didn't stop the bloodshed. This stele, for instance, dated to about 840 BC, was written by a king of Moab called Mesha, who describes a war with Israel, which the Moabites won. Jordan's days of independence were numbered, however, as various titans took turns taking over the territory. First were the Assyrians, who ruled and exacted tribute for quite some time before the Babylonians had a go at it, who were followed by the Persians and then the Greeks. Meanwhile, however, southern Jordan had seen an incursion by an Arab people called the Nabateans, who pushed the Edomites into southern Palestine and set about establishing their own kingdom, which was enriched by an extensive network of trade. The Nabateans, who were highly skilled craftsmen and whose kingdom at its height stretched up to Damascus, are today best known for their wondrous capital called Petra, a basin-based, mountain-skirted, rose-tinted city carved out of rock. For centuries it flourished like a flower in the desert due to a crucially clever system of water preservation. And then along came the Romans, whose legions took possession of Jordanian territory in the early 100s AD under Emperor Trajan. The Romans Romaned everything up, and Jordanian Christians built what is perhaps the world's very first church building. As the centuries passed, and Eastern Rome/Byzantium and Persia fought, Jordan was often snatched by one or the other. And then, in the 7th century, in marched the Muslims from Arabia, whose forces under Khalid ibn al-Walid decisively defeated the Byzantines and established Islamic rule under the Rashidun caliphs, who were followed by the Umayyad caliphs, and then the Abbasid caliphs, and then the Fatimid caliphs. Sounds busy, but this all happened over a long time, and poor Jordan was largely neglected by its alternating overlords and slipped into dusty poverty. The next big thing that happened in the land was the arrival of the crusading knights from Europe, who, in wresting control of the Holy Land, also gobbled up much of Jordan, where they built this imposing castle. The Mamluks of Egypt controlled Jordan for the remainder of the medieval era, and then the Ottoman Turks stepped in and added it to their empire. The Turks would prove unpopular masters, only interested in collecting taxes and not offering anything to aid or improve the once prosperous region. The early 20th century saw Jordanians revolt against Turkish rule, which the Ottomans quelled with characteristic harshness. But just because a rebellion is crushed doesn't mean the underlying anger goes away, and it didn't. The Jordanians eagerly joined the British to fight the Turks in the First World War, in what's called the Arab Revolt. One of the conflict's key events took place in Jordan, at the Battle of El Aqaba, where the Bedouin leader of the Huwaitat tribe, or the Abu Tayy, alongside the famous Lawrence of Arabia, scored a great victory over the Turks in their surprise attack on the strategic port. The war ended in Ottoman defeat, but not in the independence the Arabs craved. Rather, British rule followed in what was then called Transjordan, though it was nominally governed by the Emir Abdullah bin Hussein. Tribesmen from present-day Saudi Arabia began raiding and pillaging villages in Transjordan until repelled by the British Air Force in 1924. Full independence was achieved in 1946, with Abdullah becoming king. 2 years later, Transjordan, alongside its neighbors, declared war on the newborn state of Israel, the Jordanians managing to gain control of the West Bank, as many thousands of Palestinians sought refuge in Jordan. And it was a Palestinian who assassinated King Abdullah in 1951, who believed the king intended to make peace with Israel. Jordan, along with Egypt and Syria, made war on Israel again in 1967, this time not so successfully, losing control of the West Bank, though Jordan soon claimed victory in the following year's Battle of Karama, where Israel failed in its objective to capture the Palestinian Liberation Organization's leader, Yasser Arafat. As the years passed, however, Jordan became uncomfortable with the increasing strength of the Palestinian militants in its borders, many of whom wanted to unseat the Jordanian monarchy. So Jordan took action in Black September, and in 1971 succeeded in booting the PLO out, who then set up their bases in Lebanon. 1994 saw Jordan make peace with Israel. Under Abdullah II, a number of happy reforms saw the economy do very well, and Jordan remained relatively unscathed by the 2011 Arab Spring turmoil, but was hard-pressed by the more than 1 million Syrian refugees that entered following that nation's civil war. But despite being buffeted and beset by neighboring troubles, Jordan has proven to be among the most stable and peaceful of Near Eastern nations, and today possesses a high level of human development with estimable industrial and IT sectors. But what awaits Jordan in the future, near and far? Comment below, but for now, bye-bye!
Any comments on the video? That was quite interesting, and I'm glad it kind of has a happy ending with that video. Any thoughts or comments? They have a very rich history. I think that's what I will say.
Yeah, they do. They want to be peaceful, it seems. But they're over there in the middle of all the fighting. But you don't hear that much about Jordan fighting anymore.
No, never
No.
did.
No.
Or at all. I mean, I'm learning so much. I hope you all are as well too.
Yeah.
And it just with your comment, I mean, location, 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 you know?
Mm-hmm.
Where you are affects how you live and what may happen. So
Yeah.
always got to keep that in mind, right?
Right.
Any other thoughts or comments? I think you guys will really like the next videos.
I can tell you that I had the privilege of meeting the Queen of Jordan back in the 70s. She was an American girl who married Hussein, who is now the present king of
Hmm.
Jordan. And she was known as um, Queen. Oh, I can't think of her name
Yeah,
now.
that's the thing I shared in the chat that Geraldine mentioned. It says Noor, Queen Dowager of
No, that's it.
Jordan.
That's
I'm
it.
Queen
Queen
Nora.
North. She was a
Yeah.
Brooklyn girl.
Well, it says here that well, if we're talking about the same person, she was born Lisa Najib Halabi, and she was actually born here in DC in 51.
Well,
Mm.
that's her. That's her. Her father worked for the airlines, or she did, one of them. Yeah, that's her.
Father,
Queen
Yeah.
Noor.
Queen North. Her father ran the airlines, but she was educated in Harvard, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, it says here Princeton. That's her
Princeton,
alma mater.
okay,
Uh-huh.
it's possible. It might have been Princeton. But I had, like I said, I had the privilege of meeting her once a long time
Oh,
ago.
I mean, that's amazing. Thank you so much
you
for
met
sharing,
her?
Mr.
You met her,
Thomas.
Tom?
I had the privilege of meeting her and speaking with her.
Oh my
Right?
goodness.
She's a very intelligent young lady.
Oh yeah, I mean, again, it says like her father. Yeah, he was a Navy experimental test pilot. He was a scientist. He was an airline executive,
Yeah,
government
he was an
official.
airline executive when he married her. When the king married
And
his daughter.
her husband, the future king of Jordan, who is now the king of Jordan, he was an airline pilot too.
Uh-huh.
But he was in the Royal Jordan Air Force.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you so much for sharing that, Mr. Thomas. Again, it's a small world out there. So.
Sure
And they
is.
had a reception. Barry had a reception for her, for them at his office.
UN.
Oh wow, really?
Mm-hmm.
That's so cool. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. I'll be sure to also just take a look. I mean, I love learning new things. So thank you so much for
Uh-huh.
sharing in. Yes, and Mr. Tom, thank you. So this next video is from the History Channel. Very interesting. This is the rise and fall of the lost city of Petra. I hope you like this. Wow, any thoughts on the video? I mean, that was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Any thoughts?
I'd like to know, how did they build those structures in the stone like that? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's incredible. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
And then the whole flood and just how they're able to like figure or learn these things like with
Yeah.
modern technology and just even that the guy, I forgot his name, but he just discovered it through a narrow path and he just saw all this, all these like you said structures and how they were built. I wasn't surprised that that the news traveled around the world, right?
Wow.
he had to get in, he had to disguise himself, he had to learn the dialect, he had to look like them just to kind of piece the clues together. So imagine if he wasn't with us, we might never know about this.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. Alex, I think they had help.
That's Brenda.
I do. I mean, way back in those times, what equipment could they use to build them?
Manpower.
I'm convinced they had help.
It took thousands and thousands of human beings to put that together.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was not put together by machine. It was
I
human
know it.
work.
Yeah,
And it
human
wasn't
humans.
overnight either.
I know it, Tom.
No.
But they had to
No.
have some extraterrestrial help for that.
Well, you know what they
Oh,
say,
here
light
we go
wall.
again.
Yes.
Mr. Brandy, you ought
Yeah.
to be ashamed of yourself.
No.
No, no.
Is
Life
that where
is
the
full of
UFOs come
time.
from?
What you say, Tom?
I said, do you think that's where the UFOs come from?
Yes, I do. A
Uh,
lot of wonders around the world. I'm sure they had to have some help. I mean,
Life is full of time and opportunity,
it's
right?
amazing. To carve that stuff like right in the mountain, and yeah,
It's amazing.
it is.
That's all I can say. It's amazing. We're so blessed to be here, you know, to witness and to view everything and to,
Yeah.
you know.
you know, I often wonder 2,000 years from now, what they're going to find about us.
Oh yeah, we're gonna be
Yeah.
part of history soon. But we're
Yeah.
making it right now together, right?
What's that they
That's
say?
right.
Through God, all things are possible.
Amen.
Yes to that. So I found this website again. There are so many different tours and different things you can do, and you know, info that you can learn. So this one was really interesting. There's an opportunity to eat with a local family, and of course, I could share this link with you all so you could read a bit more. But I think this is so funny. You will sit down with the family and eat until you think you're full. Only your host will insist they treat more when eating in Petra. It says, Alhamdulillah is a phrase you will want to remember, as saying this when your host is insisting you eat yet another serving will save your very satisfied stomach. You will be met with the response of Satan to your health from your host. It's not complete with a cup of local tea, which I think would taste really good. And then they'll go back to the accommodation. So look at these, some special foods. So this one's called magluba. Never heard of it, but it's similar to other dishes because it means upside down. It's made with layers of chicken, veggies, and rice in a saucepan. And to serve, the saucepan is turned upside down so that the chicken is now on top and the rice is on the bottom. So doesn't that look delicious, you all?
What happened? Where'd you go?
Are you all able to hear me, you all?
Now I can.
Okay.
I can hear you, but we lost contact with film.
Okay, yeah. So give me 1 second, you all. Thank you so much for letting me know. I noticed it myself too, you guys. All right. Give me a second. On my end, I could still see that chicken dish though, even though I'm out of the Zoom. Doesn't that look delicious?
Looks pretty good.
The watermelon look good.
Yeah, that tomato and cucumber salad down there. That's sour cream, or is that yogurt? I mean, that looks like a very satisfying meal, right?
No.
I can't see it.
You ain't missing nothing.
You gotta zoom out.
You gotta zoom out.
Yeah, it's zoomed.
I'm starting my screen.
What is those them black things that's around that chicken?
Beans.
Beans?
Beans.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Tom.
It was
Oh, I
that
see
part of
it
the
now.
world.
Yeah, I
Yep,
see it.
yeah, I'm back, you all. Thank you
There
so
we
much for
go.
letting me
There we
know.
go.
Okay, yeah. So, as going through this, sorry if you were not able to hear me. Again, this is magluba. It's upside down chicken with veggies and rice in the saucepan, and is basically served upside down. So that's you have the rice in the bottom and the chicken at the top. We have Sanea here, favorite home cooked meal of marinated chicken and veggies that is cooked in the oven. So looks different, but similar
That
ingredients,
looks
right?
good.
Uh-huh. Look at all the spices, and I see the veggies. I love me some carrots, so I think those may be some carrots in there. But I love that. And then here is one. No trip to Jordan is complete without trying the national dish of mansaf. Chicken is cooked in a sauce made from reconstituted dried yogurt and served with boiled rice and shrock bread. Not sure if this is it, but hey, doesn't that look good?
Yep.
It probably smells amazing, you know, with the different spices, etc. Look, she looked pretty happy right there. Look at that meal. Look how big that plate is. So yeah. So I mean, one day I love to have food overseas. I would love to try it. So all the food that we talked about on these calls, I think is I love it. So for our last video for today, we're gonna play 7 minutes of this one, local people and culture of Petra. And afterwards we'll do our trivia, okay? I hope you enjoy and see some of these folks. Ready?
The western half of the Fertile Crescent holds additional appeal as the front gate for human migration, past and present. The landmarks here are notable, from the Egyptian pyramids to the Dead Sea, to the new white city of Tel Aviv. East of Israel, nestled within the mountains and canyons of southwestern Jordan, we find the remains of the desert city of Petra. Built in the 5th century BC, Petra was the capital of the Nabatean kingdom. The Nabateans were a tribe that controlled the long camel trading routes from the Arabian Peninsula to the distant Roman Empire. Hints of classicism are apparent in its structures. Over time, this city was abandoned and forgotten by all but the nomadic Bedouins who traveled through. Petra was rediscovered by outsiders in 1812 by the Swiss explorer Johann Ludwig Burckhardt. Who is here today? Once a visitor and now a permanent resident, Marguerite tells her story of being married to a Bedouin. Enriching the taste buds of visitors from afar with authentic Jordanian cuisine is Suleiman Halil. Bringing travelers the last stretch to Petra via donkey, mule, and horse is Suleiman.
My name is Suleiman. I live in the Bedouin village. I have 8 brothers and 5 sisters, and we live together in one house. Most of the Bedouin people, they live in a cave, but the government, they moved us to this village, and they build for us small houses. It's a big village. We have everything, internet, everything. We are really happy to live there. But you know, the cave, it's more nice. It's quiet. You don't hear a car. At least you see stars when you are outside in the cave. So we like to stay in the nature. Where is the Bedouin live? Where is my grandfathers and my father, where is they live in the cave before? Every day I go to Petra, I wake up early. Sometimes I sleep in a cave. We work in the donkey. We help tourists to the monastery. Sometimes we take them to a high place of sacrifice because animal, the car cannot go up. Only the animal, they can go to the monastery and the high place. I have only 1 mule and 1 horse. The mule, we use it for tourists because they are strong and they climb the stairs up the steps and they carry more than like 200 kilo. They climb the steps and they are very relaxed and very good and very quiet mule. لا مش كلهم والله واحد. I like horse better because my horse, I have my special horse. Sometimes I go race them. My job, it's free. I work whatever in the morning, I sleep whatever I want. Our hospitality is in our blood. We like to invite people, they stay with us in the cave, tourists. Sometimes they come as a guest, they leave as a friend. And we love to make friends. Like almost we have tourists in the cave. They love to stay in the nature. Yeah, because the hotel, it's 5 stars, but our cave, 1,000,000 stars. Try before you fly.
My name is Suleiman Hilalat. I'm from Jordan. I live in Petra. When I born in this town, I live in this town. I have my own business. I'm the owner of this restaurant. So I have 2 restaurants now, not 1. Every day we wake up and we come to check our business, to check our staff, food, emails. Then we welcome the guests. They finish lunches and dinner, then we go back home with family. It's a normal life. When they come to country, I would like to taste the Jordanian food. It's local food. And Asmar fees, it's like a homes. Mansaf. It's meat, rice, and the yogurt and the bread. This is the best one. They're all Jordanian like.
Hi, I'm Marguerite. I'm originally from New Zealand, but I was backpacking here in 1978 when I met a local man, Muhammad, and we got married. So I've lived in Petra now for 39 years. When I came along, Muhammad was selling trinkets, and although in the first years I ran a clinic here in a cave for the local people, I'd trained as a nurse. After some years I started working with him selling things to the tourists, and so that's what we developed in later years, and that's what I do today with one of our children, Rami. I have special jewellery, so it's really fun. Women in town trained in a workshop about 25 years ago, one of the development projects. They trained to make sterling silver jewellery, and with the idea of having designs inspired by Petra. It's been really helpful that because I'm a woman, I can go anytime. The women are working mostly at home, so I can go anytime and just call in. They don't need to have a husband or a brother around. Here, the society's quite traditional in some respects. In a home, it's not acceptable for any man just to call in if there are women in the house, so they have to have, like I say, a husband or a brother. It's what they call their protector, I suppose. When I first came, the Bedouin was still living actually inside Petra. So I lived in a cave not far from here, about 5 minutes away from here, for the first 7 years of our marriage. I was pregnant with our 3rd child when the government moved us up to the village. It was that move, of course, that then led me to write the book, because what I saw over the years, as I was here at the shop, and people always asked how come I was here, I was telling all the stories about what it was like before. I realised it was changing really quickly, and that the younger generation who was studying and might be able to write something hadn't experienced living in the caves, and the old ones, of course, weren't going to. So that's when I realised that was the story to write.
Wow, any comments on these folks here in Jordan? The restaurant looks amazing, looks like, they really care about their staff, the location, and just that woman's journey. Any comments before our trivia for today about anything for the session?
Well, that Suleiman, he came from a big family. Good gracious. And 5 sisters, 14 of them. So I guess, I don't know if they had any birth control over in that country. Apparently not. But that big family. And I mean, if you live in a cave, I mean, there's no light. I mean, I don't know how you would survive. I get well, she been in it for a long time, so apparently she survived some way. But I mean, I don't know. I couldn't imagine living in a cave. You
I
know, no
know.
light. I mean, no toilet, bathroom, or yeah. But I guess I mean, if that's all you have to adjust, and you make do with what you got. So, but those buildings, I'm telling you now. I mean, gee.
I know,
They're
right?
beautiful. They're very nice, but I want to know how they did it.
Life is full of time and opportunity, right?
Oh my God.
Yes. Any other thoughts or comments about anything for today? It was just amazing to learn about this culture.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Well, I'm amused. Well, I guess amused is the word, that the lady came on a sightseeing tour and met her husband and married him and has been over there all these years. And yeah, so I'm just amazed about that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She's been there 39 years.
39 years. So she was love at first sight, I guess.
Yeah, when you find your person, I guess she found her person, right?
She found her person over there on a sightseeing visit.
Okay.
All righty now. Well, again, thank you guys so much for participating today, and I hope you guys learned a lot. I know I did. I didn't have any idea, but really, I didn't have any idea of this wonderful country and history. So I hope you guys enjoyed and had a ton of fun. And Lou will be back with us next week, and definitely considering all the ideas shared yesterday, hopefully we can come up with some great destinations for February. Okay.
Okay.
All right, you guys. So again, we're going to get started with our trivia for today. So if you'd like to answer one of the trivia questions, please make sure that you raise your hand in Zoom. So that way you can get first chances for questions. Okay, so we'll take 3 answers for each question, and 2 of you will be in the running for a prize today. So again, let's all raise our hands. You can hit more at the top right, then tap on raise hand, or you can hit reactions at the bottom and then tap on raise hand, just so you're able to hear from everyone. Again, thanks so much for participating. I want everyone in Zoom to please raise their hand. Again, if you're ready for the trivia, if you enjoyed the session today, you had a lot of fun, if you're ready for our questions to learn even more, okay? And again, if you enjoyed the session today. So thank you so much. I love all of the hands, and we'd love to hear from as many of you all for our trivia questions. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and go to our questions. And as soon as I show the question, you're able to raise your hand. Okay, so let me start by sharing my screen. Thank you. Moment. And let's get started with our first question. Okay, so we'll be doing the odd ones. Who first called Petra a rose red city half as old as time? You can use your Google, use your devices, use your iPad to help you figure out the answer. And I'll take the first 3 hands. So we have 2 hands so far. Then taking 1 more hand. And who first called Petra a rose red city half as old as time? Was it Alfred Lord Tennyson, John William Bergen, William Blake, or Percy Bysshe Shelley? Okay, 2 hands, looking for 1 more hand. All right, so we have Miss Doris. What do you think for number 1?
See, I think it's the last one.
Okay, thank you so much, Miss Doris. Appreciate it. All right, Brenda, what do you think?
I say John William Bergen.
Okay.
Second one.
All right. And Anne, what do you think?
John William Burgeon.
Okay, so we have 2 for that, 1 for Mr. Percy over here. We'll see who it is, and then at the end. Okay, thanks so much, you guys, for that first one. Okay, number 3. Let's raise our hands. Okay, who was the first Western explorer to reach Petra? Was it Giovanni Battista Belzoni, Howard Carter, Johann Ludwig Burckhardt, or Gaston Maspero? And number 3 right here. Okay, number 3. Who was the first Western explorer to reach Petra? Okay, we have 2 hands. Taking 1 more hand. All right, Brenda, what do you think?
Johann Ludwig Burckhardt.
Okay, all right. And then Yvonne, what do you think?
I said Burckhardt.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Yvonne. One more hand, you guys. Any takers? All right, Mr. Thomas, what do you think?
Burckhardt.
All right, thank you so much. And we got 3 for those. Yeah, and we'll see who is correct. And if we're correct at the end, thank you so much. Good job, you guys. Number 5, who built the city? The Greeks, nobody knows. The Romans, Nabatean Arabs. Who built the city? The Greeks, nobody knows. The Romans, Nabatean Arabs. Any takers? All right, 3 hands. All right, Miss Doris, you got this. You got it. What do you think?
The Nabatean Arabs.
Okay. All right. Next up is Yvonne. Thank you.
Yes, Nabatean Arabs.
All right. And then Miss Brenda, what do you think?
I agree, Nabatean Arabs.
All righty now. We'll see who is correct at the end. Thank you so much. Good job. I hope you like the questions. Number 7. Petra contains a spectacular semicircular theater. Who built it? The Romans, Greeks, Nabatean Arabs, or was it the Crusaders? Spectacular semicircular theater. Who built it? All right, just 1 more hand. Again, encouraging all those that are on, participate. 1 more hand. All right, Mr. Thomas, what do you think? Oh, you got to make sure you unmute, Mr. Thomas.
I think it was the Greek.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Thomas. Appreciate it. Miss Doris, what do you think?
I say the Greeks.
Okay, thank you. And 1 more. We'll take 1 more person for this question. All right, Cassandra, thank you so much. What do you think for number 7?
Ancient Greeks.
All right, got you. Thank you. Thank you so much. The Greeks. Let's see who is right. Almost there. Last one, number 9, right here. Very few of the monuments at Petra can be dated with any certainty. The tomb of Sextius Florentinus, however, is dated. When was it built? Definitely a Google question, iPad question. Was it AD 345, AD 299, AD 70, or AD 129? You can use your devices, use your phones, use anything to help you with finding these answers as well. All right, we have 1 hand so far. Again, taking 2 more for this question, okay? 2 more. All right, Geraldine, what do you think?
I'm gonna guess AD 299.
Okay. All right, Brenda, what do you think?
I'm guessing too. I'll say AD 129.
Okay. 1 more. We'll take 1 more for this one. Any takers? Any guessers? All right, Ms. Doris, what do you think?
I'm gonna say AD 299.
All right now. So we got 2 for that one. We got 1 for 129. Let's see what it is. Okay, so going off our answers today. Again, thanks so much. Appreciate it. All right, so let's go look at our answers. So number 1, John William Bergen. So congrats to Brenda and Anne for that. The famous line is now constantly quoted in relation to the city. It first appeared as in a prize-winning poem of his at Oxford. So good job. Number 3, who was the first Western explorer to reach Petra? It was Burckhardt. So all of you got that correct. So congrats. He had to disguise himself as a local in order to persuade the people living nearby to lead him through the sick to visit Petra on August 12th, 1812. Wow. Number 5, who built the city? Nabatean Arabs. The kingdoms are very poorly documented. It is known their empire collapsed in 106, after which Petra was ruled by the Roman Empire, the Byzantine Empire, the early Islamic Umayyad Caliphate, and briefly, the Crusaders. Wow. So all of you got that correct, and that was very interesting to learn. Petra contains a spectacular semicircular theaters, and it was the Romans. Wow. So that during their occupation of Petra, the Romans built this magnificent open-air theater, which it estimated would seat over 5,000 people. So y'all thought it was the Greeks. I thought it was that too. So again, the more you know, right? And last but not least, okay, when it was built in 129. So good job to you, Brenda, for that. And it says had been replaced by one Heteros Nepo. So Sextius died in office. He must have really loved Petra to wish to be buried there instead of being returned to Rome. Wow. All right. So thank you all so much for participating. Really appreciate it. Give me 1 second to get our wheel together. Okay, you all, thank you. And we are going to provide 2 prizes today. So let's see who wins. Give me 1 second. Appreciate it, you guys. Let's see. All right. So again, we're gonna have 2 winners for today. I'm gonna share my screen. And let's see who is our first winner for today. All right, let's see. Let's see who wins. And it's Anne. Good job, Anne. Thank you. You are our first winner for today. All right, and let's see who our second winner is.
Thank you.
Yes, let's see. Let's see. It's really cutting it close. Oh, wow, Mr. Thomas, congratulations. Thank you so much for participating today. You and Anne both won our last holiday ornament prizes for next year. So again, congratulations. Thank you so much for coming on our session today and for your prizes too. Thank you for participating, everyone. And we had such a fun time. I hope you all enjoyed. And let's give it up for our winners for today.
Yay!
And I really appreciate your participation.
Yeah, congrats,
See you all
congrats.
soon.
Thank
See
you.
you all at
Congratulations.
1:30.
See everybody
Yeah.
soon.
Thank you. See
You all
you all
tomorrow.
soon. Hope you all had fun today.
We
Thank
had
Okay.
fun. It was
you.
Yeah.
fun.
Thank you. See you all next week
All right.
Okay.
for our
Okay.
next
All
travel
right. God
pod.
bless.
See you all
All right.
soon.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
See you all
Bye.
soon.